Well, this is Brandon out here at Owner's Acres in Aurora, and many of us got some nice rain here over the last week. I know it was very spotty. Areas that didn't even get a drop to areas with 4.5 inches. So what we're going to talk about this week a little bit. I was going to spend some time on irrigation. Obviously, as we get into, you can see our corn here, we're into brown silk. We're starting to fill that ear. We really want to make sure, we're keeping up on water. It's not as critical early on, but now we really need to be focused on water. As you look at some of our ears here, I mentioned last week we can start to see some of our potential. What we're really focused on, here over the next couple weeks is trying to keep these tips. And a couple ways we do that is making sure that that plant doesn't have stress. So, fungicide applications, if you haven't gotten them on yet, we still are looking at some warm weather coming up. Today's a little cooler, but as we hit those hot days and warm nights, helping that plant respire at night. Also keeping insect feeding off of here. We do the math. You take 3-4 kernels on the tip times 18 rows around times 32,000 plants. It doesn't come up, pretty quick. You can come up with 15-20 bushel yield loss. So still scouting for insects, but as we start to blister, it's a good time to make sure that we're getting good pollination. With the rain, there's some time to walk fields. I know everybody's looking for a little break, but also kind of mose around in your fields and see what you're seeing on some of these different hybrids. And when you're looking at your corn plants, we really focus this time of the year. It's really easy to get looking at the ear, and worried about how that's going on, but I spend a lot of time looking at the bottom third of the plant. Are we losing leaves? Do we have any nutrient deficiencies? Still at this point in time, I really don't like to see any leaves sloughing off. So if you're seeing some firing already, that's a sign of maybe some nutrient deficiency, especially looking at your nitrogen program. So we're watching tissue tests, but also just doing visual observations of our fields, looking at the bottom third of the plant. Also, watching for disease. We're seeing quite a bit of northern corn leaf blight. Southern rust has been reported in 11 counties now in Nebraska. So even if you put a fungicide on, it's important to know how long of a residual did you have, what modes of action. Same way with your insecticides. If you're fighting Japanese beetles and you put a low rate of bifenthrin on, you need to be checking fields regularly because the pressure comes right back in. You don't get that length of control. So even though you've treated, it's still good to go out and look at your fields. But watch that bottom third of the plant. Same way on soybeans here. We have a couple different soybean plants. But pay attention to if you're losing leaves. A lot of times as you get that full canopy, you start to see leaves slough off, but we want to make sure it's just because of lack of sun and not a disease problem. These beans are actually have been treated and are clean. We're just seeing some natural attrition to the leaves. But one of the things you'll find as you walk bean fields is, here's 2 bean plants that are the same size, but like we talked about in a lot of our meetings, it's important to count how many main stem nodes do you have. So as we look at this plant, you can start breaking them off or pull leaves back 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We got 18 and 19 coming out here on this plant. And you'll look at a neighboring plant planted a little later. We're only at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you'll see some big differences in beans now, especially based on planting dates. Maybe if you put the PGR treatments, our realized product on them early, we should see some stacking down low, but it's a good time just to evaluate your beans and also seeing what we're seeing for pods. You always got to peel that canopy back, make sure there's no insect feeding and you're not leaving any pods on the ground. But like I say, those of you that got rain, it's a good time to take a break, get out and look at fields. For those of you that didn't, I guess we have to keep pouring the water on. But we're thankful for the rain we got, and seemed like this go around we didn't get the bad weather with it. So we'll keep you updated in upcoming weeks and wish everybody a safe and prosperous week.